Welcome everybody to Stream Key Friday episode. This every single week, and today we have two special guests with us. The first of which is MrPureInstinct for the first time on the show. MPI, how are you doing today, man? How's it going?
I am fantastic. I'm excited to be here. First show. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, how's your week going?
It's been good. It's been good. It was a little slow to start, but then yesterday was a wild day between my two streams, to say the least.
Wild. Is any context there?
So during the daytime stream, there were like 3 huge raids that came in, including the True raid. And then we had the nighttime stream, and it was the great bit war of our time.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you on the show for the first time. We have Sadomi joining us once again. You've been on here a lot now, Sadomi, but welcome back. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. I love being here. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Nice shirt, by the way. I see that TRUgaming TwitchCon shirt looking good. How's your week been with your stream and everything else?
It's been pretty good. I've been loving Mixer. It's a great place. A lot of fun.
Wait a minute. I can't even keep track of everyone moving to Mixer now. Are you actually moved to Mixer, or are you just trying it out?
I put it like this. I put a down payment on the house, but my lease isn't up yet.
I like that.
Okay.
So you're gonna live over there eventually?
He's still living at Twitch, but he's in the works of moving to Mixer.
Okay, so it's probably gonna be a move though, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, like it's
interesting. Okay,
for my personal needs. It's
true making that jump lately. So we definitely have to do the whole podcast on that coming up soon. But lastly, Velok, you're here again too.
Again.
How's it going?
It's going well, man. It's going very well. How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, you actually asked me this week. Thank you.
Hey, well, you just seemed like you needed it. All right.
It's been really good. Really excited for all you guys tuning in today. We have a pretty good episode because there has been some stuff that cropped up over the past week, which I'm sure you guys probably heard about if you are streamers. And if not, we're going to tell you. But for anyone just joining us, we do this every week. And this show is really driven by you guys. So you can ask questions in the chat, tagging us to kind of shape what we talk about. You can bring up questions or a take around a certain topic in terms of the news that happened over the past week. If you think that it was bad or good, or something you want to bring up, you can do that and we'll discuss it on the show. So we like to start off usually with Twitch news, and I'll start off with the kind of the smaller things before we hit the big topic this week. A couple of small things that came up. One is that I saw, and this is just me, I don't know, maybe this has been here for a while, but skippable ads on Twitch are showing up now. Very rarely. I've only seen them like once or twice maybe, but I have seen them. So I think it's interesting that Twitch is considering skippable ads, at least, because I know ads are kind of reaching a breaking point with people on Twitch who are viewers and watching. So really quickly, have you guys seen skippable ads yourself? Or what do you kind of think about that whole system of skippable ads?
I haven't seen them.
I haven't seen one either.
Wow. They're really rare then.
I haven't seen an ad in
I guess so.
years.
It's been a minute. I only watched him, the chat man.
That's it.
And I subbed to him. I'm just kidding. I've watched a lot of streamers lately, and I haven't seen a single ad at all.
I haven't either.
Actually, I saw there was a debate about that from Shroud and Doc about ads and subs, which I might get into later if we have time. I'll write a note on that really quickly. But yeah, so I just thought that was kind of interesting because I do think that ads are becoming almost a bit of a problem with Twitch, with how much people are seeing them, especially because they removed them from Twitch Prime, getting that ad-free experience. So I'm interested to see how Twitch kind of handles that going forward. So that was a small thing. One of the big events that happened recently was Agdq, Awesome Games Done Quick. And that was a really cool event that raised over $2.3 million in donations, which is just amazing. I love that you can do that with video games, first of all. Did you get any of you guys watch the event? Do you look forward to the events a lot, or what do you guys think of that whole event in general?
I don't really watch those, to be honest. I'd like to. I think that some of them would be kind of cool, but it's just not really something that I put in my schedule to.
Right. Yeah, I kind of I'll watch it when I have time, especially games that I know a lot. But I'm not one person who kind of waits for it to come around every year. I know people are out there who love it, and when it comes around, that's all they're doing is watching. I think like Dan is one of those people.
Right. For sure.
MPI, Sadomi, you guys tend to watch a lot of this stuff?
I haven't really watched a lot of like Awesome Games Done Quick or anything, but I try to catch charity events when I can. Obviously, like the True events are really good to watch, and then the only other one that I make time out every single year is Rooster Teeth's Extra Life that they do. But other than that, I ended up not catching most of them. But I like to see all of the money that's raised through video games just as another way of kind of like pushing video games into people's faces and saying, hey, look, they're not just, you know, little toys for geeks. You know, it's a huge community. It's a huge industry.
Right. Yeah. It's really cool. Just the fact that that's even a thing. It's just awesome. That literally awesome games done quick.
Yeah.
But Sadomi, any thoughts on Agdq?
Not much of a viewer of Agdq, but remember the first time I really sat down and watched one was at TwitchCon. They had that little section down at the bottom level.
That was really cool.
I was watching two people run Mega Man X back and like competing together, and kind of it felt nice. I loved like how it feels like golf in a way.
It's really quiet.
It's really quiet. Everyone's focused, and then you hear just like they beat a boss.
Oh, that one just a shot there. No, that's really cool though. And if those of you guys who don't know, at TwitchCon this year, they actually experimented with like an in-event games done quick. So it was like a mini version of games done quick, and you can go watch and sit down there. And I think they'll probably bring that back for future TwitchCons as well, I would imagine, because it was pretty popular. So very cool stuff. And if you guys have thoughts about that, or you want to discuss that topic, you are more than welcome to. Just tag us in the chat. Last kind of small bit of news that I saw before we get into the last topic is we just discussed this actually. Twitch started sending out stream reports via email after you're done streaming, which Streamlabs and Stream Elements have done for a while. But I think this even just happened this week with Twitch starting to send these out. So we talked about it a little bit, guys, before the show, but what are your kind of overall thoughts of Twitch starting to do this?
Finally.
A little late. Yeah. Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's pretty interesting though, because Streamlabs and Stream Elements already do them. Do you think like it's kind of, I don't know about rude, but do they really need to do it, or are you just glad that it's there at all right now?
I'd rather have the source coming from the place that actually has, you know, the real statistics and the real the real numbers. But the fact that that's like now they're doing it, you can tell that just doesn't like who that's just my calendar is even like further ahead than that. Like that took so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty interesting though, and you guys, if you've streamed last week, you might have seen it come in via Twitch. So pretty cool. Okay, so now we're getting on to the big piece for the week, which is Twitch over the past week announced a new feature going to the front page. I think it's already live. It is live, where you will be now recommended small streamer communities that you might like on Twitch. And that was, you know, the feature is there now. If you go to the front page, you'll see there are some smaller streamers. When I looked, it was like under 50 viewers who are apparently you might like them according to Twitch. So that's a cool feature, but there's a lot of issues in terms of the kind of execution of how Twitch handled this, because they released a tweet on Twitter, and I'll link the tweet here for anyone who wants to go see it. Put it in the chat right now. Basically, the problem is that when they announced it, they used the hashtag support small streamers hashtag, which is very controversial if you've been in the Twitch space for a bit. I think if you're new to it, you might not know about it, but basically that was not, there were a lot of different responses to how they did that. And then of course, you know, right there on the front page, it says smaller streamers or smaller communities you might like. So the big issue there is a lot of people are not big fans of labeling themselves small streamers. People coming out and saying you shouldn't label yourself that way. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we had like Cone Carnage come out, I think yesterday, saying that he actually doesn't see any problem with it. He labeled himself a small streamer when he was growing, and because that's what he thinks he really is. So this is a good topic today to kind of do a little bit of debate and some thoughts from you guys. What do you think about how they released this feature? Do you think just the feature itself is great? Do you think they just handled it badly, or is it not really going to make a difference? So we'll kick this off. I'm going to kick this to Velok first, actually, because I know he has some thoughts on it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's awesome that they're doing it. Like, I went and checked it out. I know me, Sadomi, and MPI all checked it out just before this started. And it was pretty cool. Like, everybody that I saw was between 8 viewers and I think 20-something viewers, I want to say. So it was actually the smaller channels, which was really cool. So I'm glad that they're finally doing it, because it's been needed for a long time. Like, it's better than just like a recommended channel, which could be any size channel on Twitch. trying to help the smaller people grow is a really big deal. And I think it's a step in the right direction for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's cool to have. Maybe this execution was the best handled from them.
Right. It could be better for sure. I know we were talking about a couple of things, but I know MPI and Sadomi can talk a little bit more about it. So
right. Sure. MPI, what are your kind of thoughts on this whole situation?
So I really like that they're doing it in general, just because most of the time when I load up the front page and I see the front page is Ninja and whoever else has, tens and tens of thousands of viewers, I don't really like to watch those streams because I never get to interact with that person. So I never go to those channels. So the front page has always just kind of been, well, it loaded to it. I guess now I'm going to click on something on the side of it. So I have to make an extra click. But being able to scroll down and see other people who are similar in size, you can find people you can interact with and might enjoy watching. But you could also, for a streamer, you maybe could meet someone to network with a little bit, or who might have ideas that you would not have being at that size, and actually get to work with someone as well. I kind of wish it was further up the page, because you have the featured page and then live channels you may like. And like I said, the first one I see right now is Ninja, which, again, it's Ninja. You don't need to put him on the front page. We all know who he is. And then 2 other people with over 12,000 viewers. And then there's categories, and then the smaller communities. So unless you're scrolling down the front page, you might never see that anyway.
Right. Yeah, you hit on a good point there. And this, Taurus in the chat said, it's just more spam for me to ignore. That's kind of like the sad truth of the front page right now with Twitch is I don't think a lot of people are going there. You can actually see in your statistics, if you're a streamer, where people come to your stream from. And I bet you it's a very few people that find you from the front page if you go look at that. And maybe that'll shift over time with introduction of something like this. And like Velox said, like the option of having it there to go network with people is really nice. So I think you probably won't see a whole lot of change right away, especially because Twitch was already kind of experimenting with stuff like this. There was the, new streamers you may like or something. They were trying some different versions. And so people that were this size were already getting on the front page. My gut feeling says this won't be a huge change for a lot of small streamers right away, but maybe over time it'll accumulate to more. I think they have to do more in general with discoverability, with the front page. There's a lot of improvements. And this, I think we can objectively say it is a good step for them to take, but it's not like a huge one. So it'll take a lot more than this to kind of build up to something. Sadomi, you have any thoughts on all this?
Now, what would actually be more effective is to took view counts out altogether. If you can't see how many viewers a stream has.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
Well, you know how every stream is like kind of labeled with your view count from like higher to lower. How you see Ninja has X amount of views, how MPI will have like X amount of views, how Velia have X amount of views. That's displayed prominently right there before you even click the stream, before you know anything about the stream, just their view count. And first impressions mean a lot. So even it's funny too, because you don't even get thumbnails or anything to grab attention on Twitch. You just have what your stream is at the current moment, which could be a chair, be our back screen, or even you picking your nose if you get caught at the wrong time. So for first impression's sake, just having your number right there already prejudices you for someone who prefers a smaller streamer versus like a larger streamer, not particularly the content directly involved. Now, of course, a smaller stream like my stream and Ninja stream are 2 different beasts altogether. Same with Veli and Ninja or whoever else is like huge.
Right. So you almost think about using thumbnails be a good way to kind of help with that a little bit, maybe?
It doesn't. I don't think thumbnails work for live content as much, unless it's like because a lot of streamers jump game to game versus to like different topic to topic. So it wouldn't stay. It's too dynamic for thumbnails. But I think taking the view count would be a good first step, or like an option to take away view count.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, definitely a lot of Twitch is built on view count in terms of finding things. And I think that's one of the issues why, discoverability is so hard. It's because you have to go so far down to find new people. I don't think it's an objectively bad thing, but it's definitely a fact that a lot of Twitch is built around view count, even like the stuff on the side panel, stuff on the home page. So it'd be interesting to think about a world where that was not the case. And there was some sort of algorithm that would show you stuff besides just how many views it's getting. Not sure. We got a few takes from the chat, though. One that I want to discuss with you guys. Taurus mentioned they should name it hashtag support fresh streamers instead of small streamers. Do you guys think like renaming what's on the homepage or how they would have executed that tweet would change anything? Or is it just a matter of how they did it?
I don't think it matters like what you call yourself or what people call you. I don't think any of that means really anything. I think what it comes down to is knowing where you're at and knowing where you want to be. Like, I know I'm a small streamer, like, but I know that maybe eventually I don't have to be a small streamer if I make the right moves and if I, work hard enough. It could potentially lead to me not being in the small streamer category anymore. But it doesn't matter what people call you or anything. It's just knowing exactly, like, realistically where you're at currently and knowing where you want to be.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it's interesting that there's been so much controversy just around the wording of this. Like, not even the feature itself, it's just the fact that Twitch used that label of small streamers and hashtag support small streamers. And it's really just words at the end of the day, which is so weird to me. So I do understand people being frustrated about it because there is like that history of it now on Twitter, especially where it's a lot of these follow for follow accounts and people not really doing anything with their tweets. So it kind of feels like Twitch isn't really aware of their own community by doing this. But at the same time, again, it's just text. So I don't think it really matters that much. I think that's why there's so much debate, though, because people feel differently about it.
Right.
Sadomi MPI, you guys any thoughts about the labeling of everything?
I'll let MPI go first.
Okay. I think on the front page where it says smaller communities, I kind of agree with Velok. That doesn't really matter. Knowing where you're at, knowing you're a smaller content creator, a smaller community right now, doesn't really matter as much as you want to get somewhere, or knowing that you have goals and where you want to be. I think on the reverse of it, though, on Twitter, the hashtag support small streamers, like you said, it's so much follow for follow, or it's so much that like that guy only tweets hashtag live on Twitch, hashtag support small streamers, hashtag Fortnite, hashtag Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And it's like, you're not getting anything from that.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're using that hashtag yourself, at what point do you stop using it? Do you say, oh, well, I've got 100 viewers, so I guess I'm not a small streamer anymore? Is it 50 viewers? You're cornering yourself into being a small streamer. It's kind of the same thing as whenever you start your own business. You can charge $1 and not make any profit just because, that brings in business. Or you can say, hey, I'm a business, I have to make money, so I'm going to charge you $3. So you can't corner yourself that way, because then you're always going to be stuck there and not able to move past it.
Yeah, and it is subjective, like you said, right? There's no like objective mark of, okay, now you're a small streamer, now you're a medium streamer. Now, once you get
this isn't McDonald's,
viewers, then you're a large. Like, when does the mark stop? So that's a good point to bring up. And I guess that kind of like builds into your brand too. Like, if you constantly use that small streamer mentality, you might not never actually get out of that, even as you grow. Like, you're still considering yourself a small streamer. So I could see an argument there where you're kind of limiting your own growth by building small streamer into your tweets and branding, whatever else. So Sadomi, thoughts of your own?
So I think Twitch was actually very smart with using small streamers, because that support small streamers hashtag, everyone uses it. It's a very popular hashtag, but I don't think many people actively search for that hashtag. Like, if anyone actually searches for that hashtag, please let me know, but I don't know anybody who clicks that hashtag. Now, I've clicked on like Xbox hashtags, I clicked on other hashtags, but never like a support small streamers hashtag, unless I'm doing research. And Twitch, whoever the social media marketer is, or the marketer is, was like, all right, these people are going to complain about everything, so let's just make them let's make it easy. Let's make it easy.
The truth, though.
Let's make it easy. Gain. It's the same thing as people were like, hey, drop your link in my channel. Drop your link on my Twitter post so I can get the engagement. So we can grow. Same thing Twitch is doing, except they're doing it on a macro level.
Right. That's actually a cool point, because Twitch could actually redeem the hashtag if this is executed right. And you're right. People are using it a lot on Twitter. There's definitely volume for it. But the problem is right now, or until this week, I guess, it's mostly been streamers looking at that, right? Like, viewers aren't going to look for that on Twitter. It's only streamers using it. But maybe, if Twitch keeps using this and pushing this, now it becomes something where viewers are looking for it on, Twitch first. Maybe they look for it on Twitter because they kind of like the process of helping smaller streamers. So that's an argument where really you could actually start supporting small streamers with that hashtag, people who are already using it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that because there might be viewers who have never even heard of that before until they saw Twitch tweet it.
Yeah, and of course, your hashtags, you're going to go, it's probably on Instagram too. I honestly haven't looked into that hashtag on Instagram. I'm sure it's there. So, and people think hashtags, they'll go look for that stuff on Twitter and Instagram, and maybe it could actually end up being pretty good. It's hard to say. I think Twitch, like this won't be enough to cause that to happen though. They're going to have to continually use it and reinforce it and kind of build it as a thing you do. And then people will start to look for it more on social media. So we'll have to see what they do with it. But,
or even if they take, if they make improvements to that whole, you can find smaller streamers on the homepage now, instead of it being a bar with 5 people who you can't even refresh.
Right.
Maybe like a whole different, if they put more focus, like actual section, like just random streamer, like randomly select your streams, pick one.
Exactly. That actually, I think that used to be on Twitch from what I heard. Like you could find a random streamer, and a lot of people ask for that to come back. I was looking into like the Twitch subreddit and stuff. People just want that feature. So there's definitely a lot of ideas on how they could do that stuff. It's just a matter of what they're actually willing to do. So you said you didn't know if it was on Instagram. I just pulled it up to check. There are 401,126 posts currently with hashtag support small streamers on Instagram. Yeah, I had a feeling.
So no, it's not there.
And then when you but when you search Twitter, you get the hashtags, but then you also find a lot of accounts that are just retweet accounts of support small streamers.
It's ridiculous. There's so many.
So I don't know if maybe you would have a little bit more traction on Instagram with something like that because it's a little less spammy.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to say. I don't know.
But yeah.
Chat though, if you guys have a take on this, tag at TRUgaming with your thoughts on it. If you think, they should not have done this at all, if you think they should use different wording, whatever, and we'll bring it up and talk about it. We can't take callers this week. I'm really sorry. We hopefully can take it in the next couple of weeks. So hang tight, but any chat questions will really be driving this show. So tag us if you want us to talk about something. And by the way, since we kind of reached the end of the Twitch news, this is the point where you can keep asking questions about other things. Like if you guys have personal struggles with your streams, if you're trying to think of like sub rewards, or you want to figure out how to make a better schedule, you don't know if you should do more bonus streams. If there's something that you've been thinking a lot about with your stream or struggling with, you can ask it and we'll kind of go around the panel and talk about it and give you some feedback or advice, or even just give our different thoughts on a topic that like you were just thinking a lot about. Like if you think something's interesting, we'll give around our thoughts on that as well. So let me know if you want to discuss that. I did want to mention one last thing before I forgot, since this is kind of related to Twitch news. So I mentioned earlier, Shroud and Dr. Disrespect, they kind of started their own podcast thing. It was like unofficial, official. I don't know what's happening there, but one of the topics they talked about was the rampancy of ads on Twitch. And we talked about this earlier too. But basically, you guys know as viewers, there's a lot of ads on Twitch. And Shroud and Doc were kind of talking, and they have different thoughts on, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Shroud kind of builds his content in a way that viewers aren't so affected by ads and can kind of still enjoy it, whether they sub or not. Whereas Doc has the mentality of like, hey, if you enjoy the content, you should pay for it because it's still free entertainment. I do, 40 hours a week that you're getting for free. It's $5. You can support that content, right? So I'm curious what you guys think about that. Like, as you grow on Twitch, or maybe as your own content, do you think that you should be putting out content that people are willing to pay for and deserves to be paid for? Or do you kind of put up your content in the way that, anyone can enjoy it for free and you want it to be that way? What do you guys think with your own streams? I'll start this with Velok, as always.
Oh, God. I don't think you should ever ask for subs or anything like that. I think that's a little interesting, but you got to remember what Dr. Disrespect is doing with his streams. Like he has that robot thing that he does that he'll stream, like where he's like a computer, like a CGI robot or whatever. Like it's really weird. Like that's got to cost money to do that. You know what I mean? So like I can understand like he's putting on production value into some things that maybe other streamers aren't spending money on. But at the same time, it's like no one's telling you to do that. No one's telling you to put all this money into your own stream. Like it's all free. Yeah. If you want to spend $5, you can. If you don't, that should be totally fine. You should never put it on someone's like, here, this is your decision. Do you want to spend the $5 on me each month or not? Like it should never even like come across like that at all.
Right. Absolutely. It's so interesting to think about though, because so for a little more context here, Doc was kind of on the side that, like, you know, whatever, you have to deal with ads, it's free. It's a free platform to watch. You're getting free content. So if you don't want ads, then subscribe because you're getting free content anyway. And it's $5, and you should really pay $5 to enjoy content you like anyway. So I was curious what you guys think about all that, and also like where you would put yourself in that spectrum of, I think that my content is so good that people shouldn't really mind paying $5 for it, or, you know, I'm just happy with people supporting me, and if they sub, it's a bonus. It's really designed to be free for everybody. So what do you guys think? I'll kick this to Sadomi next, maybe. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to monetize. Like, I don't think that's wrong at all. Like, if you're doing something for any amount of time and you're providing value to people, and people find that value worth spending money on, then there's nothing wrong with collecting that money. That's just how it is. But like, I think there's like a stigma with people people making money and streaming. People say, you know, it should be free, you should do it just for fun and everything. But if you're trying to use it as Twitch as a platform, because I think of Twitch as a platform, I don't care about like community as a platform, as like Twitch is a community. Twitch is a business. They want money. They provide a service to us, a platform to stream on, to produce our content. That's how I view Twitch.
Right.
So if you want to make, you know, if you want to, you know, bring in money, or you think you should support a creator, that's, again, it's your money. You decide how to do it. If Dr. D feels like his viewers should, you know, sub if they like his content, then he's in all his rights to think that. He's providing a business, providing a service, and he's being compensated for he wants to be compensated for said business. Okay.
Yeah, I see both sides of the argument for sure. MPI, you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, I agree with, pretty much what you said, that I see both sides of it. And like Sadomi said, I don't think there's anything wrong with, if you're putting in the work and you're wanting to make Twitch or YouTube, whatever it is, a career, there's nothing wrong with monetizing that. And there is a stigma of people doing that, but there's only a stigma of people doing it who aren't Ninja, who aren't Dr. Disrespect. It's always a stigma of the person who's wanting to go full time and start. And that's the person who hears, no, man, don't worry about the money. You should do it for fun. I'm like, okay, well, that's great and all, but other people aren't. So why am I the one that should have to do it for fun when they aren't? But I also think, I saw it in the chat, it kind of flew by, but Chill said it, that $5 adds up. I mean, I agree, if you enjoy content, and especially if you enjoy someone's content enough that you watch it every single day, you know, maybe you should throw them that, you know, $5 for the sub, or, you know, like a $5 tip here and there so they can keep doing it. But I agree, it adds up. You know, if you're subscribed to 5 people, that's $25 out of your pocket every single month.
It's
you know,
true.
Netflix costs me $10 a month, and it has,
Exactly,
you know, billions of shows on it.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing about this. So you compare that to Netflix. How many shows do you actually watch each month?
Oh, I watch a lot.
Like, but you probably don't watch more than 100, right? Or
no way.
Maybe like 20. I think maybe I couldn't see you watching more than 20. Is that right?
No.
Okay, so that's my point. Is like, even though there's the idea of having more freedom there, I feel like people tend to binge content a lot. That's just a way that we consume stuff. Right. And usually if you find the streamer you like on Twitch, you find like a couple that you like. Maybe there's one that you tend to watch more than the others. So in that sense, I could see the argument, like you said, like you're paying for Netflix already, you're paying for Spotify, paying for, you know, Hulu, Amazon, whatever. That's kind of the same situation. I know, like you said, it's one person versus a whole catalog. But if you are consuming the entertainment so much to the point where like it's the same that you would consume on Hulu or Netflix, then I kind of see the argument there of, you know, why not support that and get some stuff along with it, no ads, etc. And again, it's still free at the end of the day, right? Like even if you don't sub, you can still watch it, but you can kind of see why you could justify it that way if you pay a little bit more for it. So I don't know, just really interesting concept. So I want to bring that up for sure because I hadn't really heard it talked about before. And I'll definitely be keeping up to see if they talk about that a little bit more. But we do have more chat questions coming in now. So I'll go ahead and start reading those off. The first one I saw was from Frozen Yeti, actually. Said, does having Adblock on affect the revenue of the streamer? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does. This is a pretty simple question, but do you guys know this?
Not from personal experience, no.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
I've never.
I'm pretty sure. So here's the thing. First of all, it's getting harder and harder to block ads on Twitch in the first place.
Right.
But I think that, if you don't see an ad, that person doesn't get paid for it. I think it used to be that way in the sense of like Twitch Prime, where, you don't get ads, but then the streamer gets paid as if the person had seen an ad. Right. I think that's gone away since the changes with Twitch Prime and all that. So as far as I know, if you don't see an ad, the person's not getting paid. That's, if there's a partner who knows more about that, or someone else, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Another question from Rowan1. This is actually just a take for Sadomi. Thinks that they should just remove the viewer count altogether on Twitch. So let's talk about that, I guess, for a little bit here, because Sadomi brought it up earlier. But MPI Veloc, what do you guys think about removing the viewer count altogether on Twitch? How would that affect things? Are you on the side of it? What do you say?
I think it's a cool idea, but if they were to just make it so you never saw the viewer count, you'd go into streams where like maybe you want to interact with that streamer, and it's a stream where it's Ninja or something. Not like, obviously if you go into Ninja stream, you're gonna know you're not interacting with that streamer. But say you go into someone's stream with 2,000 or 3,000 viewers, and you just want to have a good time and hang out with a community and the streamer and just hang out, you're not gonna be able to do that. So you're gonna have to go searching like through multiple streams to find the right one with the right viewer count to where you can actually talk to people. But at the same time, it would be cool to not be limited to just being a number. You know what I mean? Like, whereas a streamer isn't just their only value is this is how many viewers you have.
Yeah.
I think it seemed like the way Sadomi was saying it is they should take away the view count when you're in that directory looking for a streamer. So that way you see, Joe Schmo, who just started streaming at the bottom of whatever directories, and with 2 viewers, that's going to be a first impression of, oh, he only has 2 viewers. I'm not watching that guy. He's probably not a good streamer. When really, it's his second stream and dude's killing it. Like the funniest guy you've ever seen, and he's not getting a chance. So maybe get rid of it on that directory page. But once you get into the stream, when you're looking at the bottom of the page where you can see all the community or the tags they have and everything like that, still show the viewer count there so you have an idea of what you're getting into. Maybe it's a good balance there.
Yeah.
So that way you click on the stream, you get into it, and that at least gives that person a chance to, you might catch that amazing joke that you would have missed, or that crazy shot that you would have missed, or something like that.
Yeah, I think I like that idea more than removing it altogether. I think viewer count is actually very important for certain reasons, mostly because, we talk here, like that's the most important number for your stream, right? Most of the time. So that's how you judge how involved your people are. Okay, arguably the most important stat is active viewers, but you can't really see that. So the most valuable stat you can see is viewers on your stream, because that's how engaged your stream is at that time. So I think removing it altogether would be really hard, but maybe removing it from certain areas would help. Like you said, the directory, even just hiding it in the directory. Like imagine if you're in the directory and it was still organized by viewers, but you couldn't actually see the count. That'd be kind of interesting, because like you said, that would take away that situation when there's no viewers and people get turned off. I don't know, but at the other end of the spectrum, like there are some big benefits to viewer count. If you're at the top of the spectrum, and there's 100,000 people watching this, what the heck, I got to check it out. Versus if that goes away, then people are like, oh, it's just another stream. So I think it's really tough to balance for bigger and smaller streamers.
It has to be brought to more than just a view count, because I want the view count to be there, but I also don't want that to be my only factor of value for a random viewer that's just looking for somebody. Not to mention that the view count kind of helps you stay hungry for growth. And if you're a competitive streamer, you want to see your numbers go up, obviously. And so you can look at yourself in a directory and see, I'm here and all these people are around me, and I just need to figure out how to like position myself better than they are. But how do I do that? Like you can just go into those streams around you and just learn on like what people are doing better than you are or differently than you are. And you can work your way up that way. Like it helps that competitive edge. And once it helps you like look at something in front of you to like aim for. But I don't know. It's just like having the viewer like number being your only value to a random like person in the directory. Like that's just, it needs to be more. It has to be so much more than just viewer numbers.
Yeah, definitely. That's too much of a focus, I would say right now. With they had this beautiful tag system they built out, and it's like not that it's hard to see. It's there, but I think they could do a much better job with that, showing kind of like the type of content rather than
Right.
just the number of people watching it.
If you use too many, nobody's going to see you anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I think one thought I had just there is maybe having the option to hide your viewer account, not just like for yourself, but like across the board. I'm not sure if there would be a downside to that I can think of. So, you know, if you're a top streamer, you can leave it on because you want to show people that people are coming out watching you. If you're a smaller streamer, you hide it just so people don't see that 0. If you guys think of like a bad side to that, let me know. But I can't think of a reason why that'd be too bad. Be interesting.
I think the best way to like kind of implement that, I was thinking this too, like while I was like listening to everybody else, we'll just have an option to have it opt in to see view counts, I think. Or either opt in or opt out. I'm not sure which one would be better. I'm really not sure on that one. I'm always a fan of opting into things versus opting out of things, but
right.
I think
Yeah,
opt out would be
good
better.
point.
I think, but yeah. So you can opt out of seeing view counts. So you can just browse and just not look at that. And also, I'm always saying streamers always should see their view counts because that's always, you know, there on your dashboard. Because it's always a very important like statistical measure. There's a lot of tools you can use to maximize that. And
Right.
like I said, options are one of my favorite sayings too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
Right.
options.
I think the options is a good idea because some people do like to hide their viewer accounts. Even bigger streamers do that who, you know, maybe get anxiety seeing that big number, or for whatever reason, you just want to hide a number and make sure you're streaming the same way at all times. Like you said, just having options would be great for helping make that, instead of like having to taste something on your monitor, you could just flick a button and switch it off. It'd be pretty cool to see. Rowan had a follow-up point that said, I think viewer count is important as well. However, at the same time, it shouldn't be the main thing you base your choice on to visit a streamer's page. I think everyone agrees with you on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely matters. It's not everything though. And I think maybe we can all kind of agree that it's a little bit too important right now across the board. It's sort of like the biggest factor that you see on most streams.
It's the only factor that like changes where you are anywhere in the directory. It's the only thing that matters as far as Twitch is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question though, Rowan. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys have comments or takes or follow-up questions, make sure you tag TRUgaming so I see it, because it's chat's moving today and we love you peeps, but I can't see everything all the time. So if you tag me, I will definitely see it. We had a question next up from Definition. That's a fun word. It's like 2 F's. Said, have you ever heard of the Creature of Soda Poppin story from 5 years ago? I have not heard of it. Basically, it sounds like address being leaked, doxing, that kind of stuff. Have you ever been scared of being doxed, of your personal info being leaked? And then maybe like, do you take any steps to make sure it doesn't happen? What are your kind of thoughts on that whole issue? Because that does happen to people, especially as you grow. Let me kick this off to MPI first. Any thoughts?
I mean, I've never really had anything like that happen. It's something that I think anyone who's online doing anything at all should always be concerned about and be safe about. I think keeping it pretty vague on, you know, where you live, things like that. If people are going to be shipping you things, have a PO box rather than having it come to your home address. There's a lot of things with like social engineering and stuff that people can try to get that information out of you. So just being smart about what you're saying and what you're telling people. I think if you're doing like IRL streams or vlogging or anything that could show, like if you have your address on like the side of your house or like your apartment number, keep those things hidden. All those kind of things are really important, I think.
Right. Yeah. One of the big issues with this type of thing, and like you kind of mentioned, is you haven't had any issues with it yet. The problem is like it's not a problem until it is, and then it's a big problem.
Right.
Yep.
So I think it's pretty hard for smaller people who aren't so worried about this to prepare for it. And then as you grow, or sometimes even if you're small, you will get those people who just are targeting you relentlessly. So it's really a matter of like preparing yourself ahead of time, which is hard to do when you it's a very small chance it happens, I would say, probably to most people. But when it does, it's catastrophic. So Sadomi, Velok, any thoughts on this? You guys take any steps maybe?
I've gone backwards.
What?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've gone backwards. I used to be very like, so I have a legal name. No one knows that. I don't. That's it. And I didn't say like I didn't say what state I lived in. I like what country I was in. Now I think you should protect yourself, but at the same time, you shouldn't like close yourself out because of it. That was what I was doing at first. And I mean, Well, it's not really important where I live. I still think, you know, if someone asks me, it's not the biggest. You'll say I live in New York, which is, you know, it's a big state. Good luck.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It definitely will change from person to person. Like there's not, you know, one way that you have to do everything. People are more or less private with their info. Some people are very open with it, even if they're big. So it's just a matter of how you want to do things and how much risk you're willing to take, I guess. Vel, any last thoughts on this one?
I don't say the town that I live in, and I don't give out my last name. Those are the two biggest things, because when I was actually in the Army, they showed us this one thing that, like, it's I don't want to get too into this because it's kind of like creepy and weird, but what like people like what Al Qaeda would use and everything to find out where soldiers live is they'll look at these websites. All you have to do is just type in your first and last name, and so it had me at all 4 or 5 different addresses that I've lived at in the state of Michigan, along with my parents, their full name, all their addresses, my sister, everything, all just based on first and last name. So
Jeez.
I don't give out last name, and I don't give out the town that I live in, just because, like, after seeing that, like, it's really, really easy to find out. Really easy.
Yeah, scary stuff. Thankfully, like, this is not too common. I mean, it definitely happens frequently. We hear about it, but I mean, you think about how many people are on Twitch as a whole or any platform versus how many people it happens to. It's not that many. And also, thankfully, like, systems have gotten better to responding to this. You know, I remember a couple of years back when swatting was a huge thing, and you'd see all these streamers getting swatted. And, you know, even like, I think one person died from that. That was this huge incident. Guy went to jail for it. Thankfully, like, it's gotten more common now and people are better at reacting to it. I heard of one thing where, you know, some guys were playing Smash and they got swatted, and the guys came in and ended up playing Smash with them in the room, which is pretty great.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I think, you know, as this kind of Twitch stuff and internet culture in general gets more accepted, there will be better systems for reacting to it. But there's always going to be creeper people out there doing creepy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is definitely worth thinking about whether you're small or large. Take some steps at least to protect your privacy if you don't want to deal with some of this down the road.
Cover your butt.
Yeah. I will say one thing too. All my female streamers out there, be especially careful. Just make sure you are, like, very careful. I mean, I know I don't want to sound like sexist or anything, but
no, right. I mean,
I feel like my issue is I get swatted, I'm dead. That's as easy, it's simple. But, like, I know people get stalked, and I know it happens to both genders, but still be very careful.
Yeah, I think statistically it will happen a lot more to female streamers anyway. If you could take a study and look at everyone, I think you would see more on the female end. So, good question though. Appreciate that from HoFood. That was from Definition. Sorry, a lot of questions coming in. By the way, if you guys asked a question or you want to ask a question and it got missed or something, you can actually join our Discord and ask questions in there. It's a lot less crowded in there, so your question pops out more. And it's also just the community for the show. !stream key to do that. Next question we have is from HoFood. Hopefully I said that right. So they said, what are y'all's thoughts on the sustainability of part-time streams? Say 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. Okay. That seems pretty average. So what do you guys think about part-time streaming with, you know, 6 hours total a week if you're doing 3 days, 2 hours? Sadomi, kick this off to you first.
Perfect. That's actually pretty much my schedule. I do 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I start anytime between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. I usually end around 4 p.m. And I have fun with it. I like it. I think being consistent with the day is more than being consistent with the time. So as long as you are consistent with the days there, then I think you're fine. I think you're fine. Now it depends. Are you talking about monetarily? If you're talking about monetarily, or just like keeping everybody there? If you're, that's a whole different like.
Right. HoFood, actually, if you're in there, let us know what you mean by sustainable, because that's a pretty ambiguous word. I mean, sustainable in the sense of you can do it more for sure. If you're streaming less, it'll be easier to make that consistent. But if you want like growth, that might be a different type
viewership
of thing.
Sustenance more so.
Viewership sustenance. So basically keeping those viewers coming back, keeping the same audience size with that type of schedule. Okay. MPI, what do you think about that?
For an hour even.
Yeah, I think if you're starting out streaming or you are just wanting to kind of have it as a fun part-time hobby, something like that, the biggest thing is your schedule. And it doesn't matter how long you can stream, just that you do it at the same day, and if you can, around the same time, if not the same time every week. I mean, that's how I started out. Was I did it 3 nights a week for 2 or 3 hours, and that was it. And
right.
We've talked about it a lot, and it's been on a lot of past shows too, but just that schedule is so important because people are going to know you're going to be live at that time. And if they want to watch you, that's when they need to be there, especially if you're only doing it for like 2 hours. They don't have a big, 8-9 hour window to catch you. They've got that small window. So if they want to watch, they got to be there.
Right. Yeah. The consistency matters no matter what your schedule is, right?
Yep.
So this is sort of like a follow-up question for you guys. Do you think, see if I can put this correctly, do you think it is better to stream more overall but have a inconsistent schedule, or to stream less but have a more consistent schedule? What would you guys say about that? Does that make sense? So basically, in one situation, let's say you're streaming for 40 hours a week, but it's all over the place and people don't know when you're going to be live. Versus in the second situation, you're streaming for 20 hours a week, but it's always at the same time each week. Which one would you prefer?
So in 2017, I streamed for about somewhere between 2 and maybe 8 people on average each time I streamed for between 20 and 30 hours a week. And that was, I would either cut streams back, or I would like either cancel them, delay the start time. And that was horrible. That was like, it did not work for me at all. And then so late 2017, early 2018, I started streaming 15 hours a week, but starting the exact same time on the exact same days. And that worked a lot better for me for sure. So
right. Okay. So you would lean towards the consistency and less time, essentially.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
MPI, where do you fall on that?
For me personally, I think I would go with the consistency too. If nothing else, just because having that scheduled at that time works better for me. I know I need to be at my PC, by this time to be able to go live at this time, and it keeps me in line more than anything. I think if being able to do those kind of sporadic streams, but streaming more works for you, what that's going to take is a lot of engagement with your community. And if it can be a weekly thing, maybe where your schedule changes weekly, if you work retail, something that is all over the place with the schedule, being able to post your schedule in like your Discord and your Twitch or your Twitter and Instagram at the beginning of the week, I think that's the only way that that's going to work out really well, unless you're already a giant streamer.
Right. Okay. So Sadomi, what do you fall on this?
It's different for everybody based on like what they stream, what community they're part of, who they're with. But for my personal experience, I know if I'm on a set schedule, I get a little annoyed if I don't get everything I get done beforehand before at the stream. So personally, streaming less consistently, like with the times, but streaming more helps me in the mental game. This way you can you learn to prioritize things and you can focus on having a good stream, not being like, I'm late for stream. Stream. Oh God, I forgot to do my hair. Forgot to comb my beard. Forgot my headband. Forgot my shirt. Oh God, I'm naked. End stream. And then you restart it up. And then your stream is just garbage from then out. So
right. Of course, the quality matters a lot. So that will depend on, if you think that scheduled streams are better, like for whatever reason, but it takes it out of you and you just can't do it and you hate it, then that's obviously not going to work for you. But the point of this is it's extremes, right? Like we're talking about full schedule or no schedule, where like in the reality, like you'd probably be a mix of one of the both. For people, especially if you can't commit to a full schedule, having like some schedule and then bonus streams or something. The point is that having some schedule, even if it's like, for example, I have one stream each week that's scheduled. That's like 2 hours long. Even that is better than having no schedule. So I would see if you can schedule something. And then, if you're like Sadomi and schedules really constrain you, or maybe you just have a lot of time that's unpredictable, you can still have a lot of like flex time with streaming and extra bonus streams and unpredictable schedule. But having 1 day or 2 days where people know you're always going to be there can help a lot. That was the whole point of all of that. So hopefully that helps you out. And HoFood, thanks for the question, dude. Definitely, I think your schedule is not anything unordinary. 3 days a week, 2 hours a day. It's pretty decent for most starting streamers or growing streamers. So keep it up. Thanks for the question, man. We had a question from Eye of the Night. This is for the police question back from when we talked about that. Would you recommend informing your local police department that you have an active online presence to help combat things like swatting and that sort of thing? That is okay. Vel, thoughts?
I don't think I would do that, to be honest. Like, that's just wasting their time, in my opinion.
Yeah. My gut says, like,
they're not.
Maybe that's
remember.
good for yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It might be worth it for some people, but I would say it's rare that that's going to be worthwhile. Maybe if you're going to be like really careful and cross all your T's. And again, maybe if you're like that smaller streamer who just for some reason you've got those stalkers, those people come by. Maybe in that case, but for most people, I think that's a little extreme.
Yeah, if there's no evidence behind it happening prior, then they're just be like, this idiot plays video games and wants us to care about it. Throw that in the trash. That's what they'll do, in my opinion.
Well, I think the other side of that too, though, Velok, is like you could go in there and tell them that, but if someone calls and says that you have a hostage in your house, they're gonna come look at it. Like they're not gonna be like, oh, well, that guy came in yesterday and said he doesn't do that. Like he's cool, don't worry about it.
If you tell them a year and a half prior and you haven't said anything since because nothing's happened, they're not going to remember that.
Yeah, right. And I think if you live in maybe like a smaller town or like a smaller community where they may not know about these kind of things, because maybe you live in more of like a rural area, it may be good to go tell them that those things exist. Just as, if nothing else, an educational thing to say, hey, just so you guys know this exists, maybe do a little bit of research on it just in case something like that ever happens in this area.
You have to be so careful with that. I mean, so I think you're right. People in the chat are mentioning that if you're in a small town, it could be beneficial, but I feel like you could actually like cause suspicion for yourself if you're not careful about that. People are like, why are these guys telling us about bomb threats in the area? Uh-oh, flag this guy. He's up to something, you know? So you gotta be really careful about how you do it.
Yeah, it would almost be beneficial at that point to like have all of like the documented news cases printed out and take them in like a pamphlet and be like, I'm not crazy. This stuff happens. Like, I don't know, because I can only imagine like if you live in, you know, BFE wherever and you have a police presence of 5 people on the whole sheriff's force, they don't know what Twitch is. They don't know what that kind of stuff is. So they may never learn about those things. And then if somehow it happens in your town of 500 people, you know, they may have known about it at least.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sadomi, any last thoughts on this one?
If you are really worried about it, doing it's not going to hurt. But if you're like average Joe and you're not really worried about like directly worried about it, I don't think there's a point, especially if like I remember one time my house got broken into and the alarm went off. Police took an hour to get there anyway. So like it's like why do I even what's no like no point. No point. Yeah. Don't go open the hood. Don't worry, they sent a SWAT team. It's a good thing. Actually, I'd be nice, good response time. All right.
I think we just got our main topic of the entire podcast is don't grow up in the hood.
Or nothing else from this show.
Yep.
Don't grow up in the hood.
That's definitely in your control, okay?
Like I said, if you're actually worried about it, do it. If not, don't worry about it because it happens. Nothing's gonna change.
Right.
Just hands up, put the controller down. Definitely put the controller down. Hands up, chill.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it is worth mentioning as like a course you can take if you think you need it. So, you know, that's important to know about. If you think you're one of those people who's the exception where, but you don't know about this guy who will not leave me alone and does some weird stuff. Maybe in that situation, that's the right thing for you. But for most people, I wouldn't worry about it if you're not dealing with any issues about it. But fair enough. Good question. Quick question from Friendly Neighborhood Vlad says, do you guys believe Twitch needs more superheroes? I had to ask that one, of course. Any thoughts?
Define superheroes.
Tim the Tatman's all we need.
More Tim the Tatmans.
Tim the Tatman's all we need.
Are you talking about people who do like more wholesome content on Twitch, or just as in people?
I think it's one of those questions that you don't really need to answer.
Okay.
I mean, I put on a Batman mask for Halloween. Does that count?
There you go. That's it. Hashtag TwitchMan.
Streamers. I don't know if he actually needs a character streamer or just cool streamers. I think we can all agree the world needs more heroes because
Yeah.
Tim the Batman.
Anyway.
Wow.
You need to give that to him for his next Halloween stream.
Moving on. So Jack the Streaming Snack has a question about Twitch versus Mixer. So this is a long one. Brace yourselves, guys. The announcement of squad streaming, something that's been available on Mixer for quite some time. True. As a mobile streamer, this would allow me to have a good quality face cam and show multiple screens at the same time, as I've been playing multiple accounts at the same time. Interesting. So using your webcam on a second account as your phone. Interesting to think about. Question is it worth moving over to a brand new platform with no followers for what is, in my mind, a huge hardware feature upgrade? And when can we expect squad streaming this year from Twitch? Okay, interesting. So do you guys think he should move to Mixer to take advantage of the squad streaming platform? Basically to use, from what I understand, use his phone as his webcam.
I think I see what he's saying. He has so he'll use his phone on a separate account for as a second camera, that people can switch between and kind of look into, versus having his camera up there so you can only have that one viewpoint, so people can switch from one viewpoint to another viewpoint. If I'm right, let me know. If not, then let me know too.
I think it shows multiple at the same time.
Right. I would say he's following up on it right now, but it sounds like a really convoluted way to get around a hardware problem. My gut feeling says, why not just do it from a PC? Because he's a mobile streamer, but there are ways to put your mobile on PC and stream that way.
Right.
And the problem is, if you do this situation, your camera is going to be its own account, which is not your actual stream. And this seems really bizarre to me. I don't know. Using one phone as a face cam. I think you could try it. I mean, it's
a lot of work. Just to do one thing.
That's the big thing. It's a lot of work, and people are gonna be very confused by it.
But it depends on how he's doing on Twitch, though. If you have a good following starting on Twitch, it's probably not worth it. But if you are just starting out and you still don't really have too much of a community, maybe not specifically just for that reason, though. In my opinion.
Yeah, he's saying, he doesn't have a PC. He's working on a budget, which I understand. He's got 4 phones for some reason. Maybe sell a couple of phones for a PC.
He's a plug, right?
This was my burner. This is my burner. Burner.
It's interesting. I mean, I understand if you're working on a budget, work with what you can. And honestly, if you think you can make it work, there's no harm in trying it out and see how it goes. But I would say definitely that'd be something to upgrade in the future once you have the opportunity to. Definitely a unique situation for you, friend. Do you guys have any?
And I think, like Velox said, it depends if you have a big following already on Twitch or not. If you've never, if you're just starting out on Twitch or don't have a big following, it might be worth the move over. I don't know. It all kind of confused me. It sounds like there's a lot that you would expect the viewer to do to watch it. And I know whenever I come to watch streams, I don't want to have to click on different things to watch different things. So I just don't know how something like that would work anyway. With multiple accounts and things like that. That's where I get a little bit wait, what?
We're a little uninformed on the Mixer platform.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of
Sadomi's not anymore. Traitor.
Okay.
Get him out of here.
I'm gonna talk about the Mixer part. If you want to try out a new platform, try it out. Worst that happens, you don't like it, you go back to Twitch. I think Mixer does have an edge on Twitch in technology and also how they treat their partners and their viewers and their a whole different culture. It feels like and that's why I like Mixer the most over there. All, the tech and the different culture, pretty much it. I don't view anything. I'm not anti-Twitch at all or pro Mixer. I'm just on whatever platform is right for me. It's like buying someone who has 10 kids doesn't need a 1-bedroom apartment in New York City, but someone with just themselves doesn't need a $22,000 per room mansion or something. I don't know. My math is off, but
objectively, things that Twitch doesn't. I mean, you can't argue that. The squad streaming stuff again, Twitch doesn't have that yet. Oh, that was the second part of your question, Jack. Does anyone know for sure when? They just said it's coming this year sometime, from my understanding from TwitchCon. So I don't think anyone actually knows when squad streaming is coming to Twitch. Apparently, it is going to eventually.
If it's anything like Twitch normally is, I accept 2020 around February. I'm not kidding.
We'll see. They won't announce it when it actually happens. It'll just be there one day.
Yeah. And then you'll get a tweet about it.
Get an email.
Yeah. I'll get 17 emails about it after my stream.
I would lean towards maybe wait for Twitch to do that if you're going to do that instead of losing your whole following.
Right.
But again, it's up to you. If you really think this is going to level up your stream and it's worth it for you, then you consider moving to Mixer because a lot of people have done that. So whatever you feel like doing, man. It is your call at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And one thing I'll add on to that too, it also depends on your community too. If they like you and they actually like your streams, they'll just type in 2 different words in their browser. It's not that big of like a change,
right?
But for some people, they watch you because they see you when they check following on Twitch. So keep that in mind.
True. All right, so moving on to the next question. We're nearing the end of the queue, so you guys have more questions. Now's a good time to ask them, either here or the Discord. So the real crazy yes says, for those of you who stream multiple days, do you find it better to have the same times for those streams? If you stream Tuesdays and Saturdays, do you do one in the morning and one in the evening, or is it better to remain consistent on the clock too? Interesting. So I know Velok has been playing around with multiple streams. I don't know if you guys have as well. What do you guys think about the importance of streaming at the same time on various days, and maybe also like multiple streams in the same day?
I think that it's really awesome having like the same start time for multiple days. That way, that like, especially like if you're only doing like 4 or 5 days a week and you're not doing multiple streams each day or on any days, you can say I'm on at 8:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. That's like the easiest schedule you can say ever. Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 1 or till what was it, 11:30 when I was doing that. So whatever makes it easy for people to remember, because right now my schedule is kind of like all over the place a little bit, and it's not as easy for people to understand. And new people, like I still get questions on what time I start, what days I stream. So whatever's easiest is the best, in my opinion.
Fair enough, and it definitely takes like some tweaking and trial over time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. MPI, you have thoughts?
I think once you get a set time that is really working for you, after you've kind of tested and tweaked that out a little bit, if you find like starting at noon every day is perfect, or that's when you're seeing your biggest view growth, things like that, I think sticking that time is really good. Because think about it, like when people used to watch TV, you had a TV show that came on Monday nights at 8 p.m. People were in front of the TV at 8 p.m. to watch that show.
Right.
If someone knows you're starting at this time every single day, no matter what, unless a big event has come up, and usually then you're letting your community know, it's easier for them to be there. And if maybe you forget one tweet or you forget a tag in Discord, they're going to know, oh, well, he starts at 10 o'clock anyway. I might as well be there. I think that's the easiest way to do that.
Yeah, and actually, to go along with that, so you mentioned the TV stuff, and that's really true. I think habit forming is really powerful for viewers too, because if you start watching the same person for long enough at the same time, I think this happens with a lot of viewers. You'll start watching a stream without thinking about it. Just like, oh, I always, for example, Velok always streams at 8:30 now. Oh, I'll turn on Vel's stream at 8:30 because I know he's gonna be live. Like people just don't even think about it at some point because they get so used to the pattern. So that's why having a consistent schedule start time is so powerful. Just building those habits. So Doma, you have thoughts as well?
Like I said, personally, I don't stream at a consistent, like on the dot time, but I always try to stream around the same time frame. Because for me, like I said, I hate if it's scheduled, I feel pressure to do it. And if I feel pressure to do it, I'm gonna be compensated for it. Straight up. So if I'm streaming so normally I start my streams around like between 11 and like 1 p.m. and then I go to work around like 4-ish. So you people know I'll stream around that time. And I'll post the time in Discord or whatever. Is it the best? Probably not, but that's me. I'm not the best.
Right. Again, like not everyone's going to be able to do the ideal thing, depending on where you're at with your life, with work, with whatever is going on. It might be one thing to know, like, okay, this on paper is what is the best. Okay, here's what I can do in my situation, right? Mm-hmm. So make sure you understand that and don't like put unnecessary pressure on yourself for something that you just can't do. Because, I mean, everyone is not doing everything perfectly. There's something that you could be doing better at all times. So just remember that when you're considering stuff like this. But good question. Hopefully helps you out. A real crazy yes. And let me know if you have more follow-up questions or anything else.
By the way, it's the real crazy eyes.
I think. Oh, crazy eyes. Okay. Like crazy yes.
Like capitalization is a good thing.
When he claps in the chat for Green on his reading skills.
History with that. All right, moving on to the next question from Taurus Blaze Star. Cool name. He says, what do you guys think about using Restream.io or similar platforms to output your stream to YouTube/Twitch/Mixer? So first of all, I want to make sure we say this because not everyone knows. If you're an affiliate on Twitch, you cannot use Restream to rebroadcast. That is a violation of your contract. So make sure you know that. Now, with that in mind, it doesn't mean you can't do it in certain situations. If you're not an affiliate, or if you're a Mixer streamer, or different circumstances. What do you guys think about Restream overall? Have you thought about doing it? If you were an affiliate, maybe Sadomi being on Mixer, have you thought about doing it at all?
No, because the only place I would stream right now would just be to Twitch, and still technically an affiliate, and I only feel like streaming to Twitch anyway. Like, I might as well just keep it on. I just like staying on one platform for streams. It depends what you're doing though. If you're doing like an event where chat interaction doesn't matter, then I think Restream is actually not a bad idea. So if it was like we were doing like an esports tournament, yeah, Restream's a great idea. If you're doing a stream where you're just sitting there talking to people, and you have a lot of people, I think going to three different chats, people not knowing what's going on in one, would create a lot of confusion. So in that case, I wouldn't do it. But if doing an event where chat doesn't matter, like RLCS or big esports event, where you look at the chat and you just ban people who just say N-words and everything, then I think it's a good idea. Otherwise, I'm like,
Fair enough. So mostly for events, if you're going to do it.
Yeah, that's better.
MPI, what are your thoughts on Restream?
I think I completely agree with Sadomi. I think if you're doing a regular stream, you're usually interacting with chat, and restreaming to three websites at one time. How are you going to keep up with all those chats? You would respond to somebody in the Mixer chat, and everyone in the Twitch chat's going to be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's just making stuff up. But I think for an esports event, anything like that, a big charity event that's maybe like a planned out show where you're not interacting with your chat, well, yeah, it's a great idea, because there might be someone who's on YouTube who's never looked at Twitch before, or there might be someone who's fed up with Twitch and like, I'm only watching on Mixer, and that's all there is to it. And then, well, now you're on Mixer too. So for something like that, it's great. But I don't think, like, for me personally, doing just like a regular stream every day, I don't think it's a good idea.
Sure. Fair enough. Vel, lastly, what are your thoughts?
I wouldn't do it, but I'm an affiliate, and I'm not going to be the one to do like a huge event like that, to where like I'm just a one person stream. So I'm not going to be doing huge, crazy events where I'm not talking to chat or anything. So for me, I don't see any reason to port a stream over to something else directly, or to restream anything. For me, it just doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah, I agree with all you guys, actually. I think there are some cases where you can use Restream. I think when you're just starting streaming, like you're brand new and you want to try out all the platforms, it's a great way to try them all at once and see if something sticks out to you. Although even then, I would argue maybe try one at a time versus Restream, because you get like a different feel each time. So in that case, it can make sense. Once you're an affiliate on Twitch, you can't, so that's out of the question. If you're on Mixer, I mean, you technically can, but like Sadomi said, you're going to run into issues where people are on two platforms and you're building two separate communities. And I've seen a lot of people who have, made convincing cases for why it'll work for them, and then it doesn't. So if you guys know someone who successfully restreams and has grown a lot, let me know. I haven't met them yet. YouTube, same situation. The only other time I think you can use Restream is when you're at the other end of the spectrum, where you're really high up, or if you're with a company or brand and you're doing an event like Sadomi said, or you're just, again, I've seen Unreal Engine do it with their informative streams, where it's less interactive and more kind of like just talking at the camera. Or you might see this for like an E3 stream or some sort of like event coverage. Then it makes more sense, because you're literally just pushing out the video to people to watch and not interact. But in terms of building communities, it's really hard to build any community really when you're doing three different places at once and everything's separated but connected, and it's a mess. So in general, I would stay away from it if you're a streamer trying to grow, unless you're just starting and you want to try things out.
Right.
So good question though. We get asked about that a fair bit. So cool stuff. All right. Next question is from HoFood, actually. What's the best way to get involved in the TRUgaming community as you all are? I guess to get as involved in the TRUgaming community. So I'll throw this to you guys, actually, since you guys are community members. What do you think is the best way to get involved with Tru?
Get partnered with Tru.
Easy.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Put out really good content, man. Grind it out on Twitch or Mixer. Do whatever you have to do. Get your content good and get your viewers up. Get partnered with True, and then show True that you're worth their time.
I think also get in the community itself. Don't just come in looking to say, well, I want to be partnered with TRUgaming.
Right.
Well, why? You want to get in and, chat in the Discord, meet people, watch people's streams, have fun, make friends. That's what I think all of us have done here. And that's why we wanted to work with TRUgaming, is because they care about their community and the streamers, where, some other companies may not, but you're great. You're sponsored by them, but they don't know your name.
Right.
Yep. I will say overall that we've tried to make it easier, because one of the problems with communities as they grow is as more and more people join a community, it gets more overwhelming for new people to join, and it's hard to find that connection. So we've tried to be aware of that and build programs and people even out there to help you make that connection. We have people in the Discord now who will actually greet you and help you get plugged in. We have new programs like True Affiliate and True Member, which just got announced for people who maybe you're not even a streamer, but you want to be officially involved in the community. There's ways to do that now. So in general, really just when you're connecting to any community, it's going to take a little bit longer than you think. And you're not going to be able to just walk in the door and be best friends with everybody. That's just the nature of communities. So give it some time and try to find like a couple people who you like, and it gets easier that way, I would say. So, and if people are in the chat who are maybe new to us and are experiencing that, I'm sure you guys can give more advice than even I could to, getting into a new community and what that's like.
Right.
So.
And even for us, it's not always the easiest thing in Discord to have to just have a conversation with somebody. Like, I'll go into Discord, I'll be like, and there'll be a conversation. I'll be like, hey guys, what's up? And then their conversation will stop. I'm like, all right, well, fuck me, I guess. I'll see my way out.
I killed the chat.
Yeah, right.
Killed it.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Like it's not just like we didn't like make it or anything. I don't want somebody to get like the wrong like feeling of like where we are all at. You know what I mean? Like, we're not big or anything. Like, we're still struggling with streaming just the same as every single person in chat is. It's a grind every day, and like nothing will really set you above anybody else. It's all really hard work and a lot of time.
Yeah, that's actually like the core of this show, right? Because there's no, everyone can always be doing better, like I said before, and there is no right way to do streaming. Like, we're not preaching like gospel up here. Right. It's not like there's a law you must follow.
We made it. Let's go. We're gonna tell you.
I mean, the show is as helpful to us as it is to you guys, because it's like working out and just discussing topics and trying to find the best way to sort it all out. So that's why it's so cool to be interactive in that way. So hopefully it helps you guys out.
Exactly. We got a partner streamer here who says that he's still grinding. Like, it's like you never, like, as soon as you think that you made it, you're done. Like, you need to always be working. There's nothing that's going to set you above anybody else aside from doing what you do every day. Nothing at all. And even then, like, I've been like we've all been grinding for forever, and like we're still not even close to where we want to be. Like, that's what we were saying earlier on, like with the small streamer hashtag. Like, know where you're at, know where you want to be, and just be realistic about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe that's even a benefit of that tag, where you're always smaller than you could be, and
it's like that little bit of doubt in the back of your head, like, hey bitch, you can't make it. Like, I have that. I have that every day. Like, you know what, like, you're a piece of shit and you're never gonna amount to anything. I need that to keep me going for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's so cool. Thanks for asking, HoFood. If anybody here wants to get into True but is overwhelmed by everything, please don't be afraid to DM me or any of these guys, and we can help you out with that whole process. It's because I know it can be overwhelming. Moving on to the next question here. We got, I think Definition again is the next one. Definition says, on the topic of permabans, is it debatably a violation of human rights to not be able to defend? Oh my gosh, this is like a legal case here.
Oh my God.
I got too real.
Okay, this is long and definitely. I'm trying to read through this here. Basically, is it a violation of rights to not be able to defend a ban case when it comes to a person's ability to stream? Okay, so how can I make this simpler? Basically, I guess it's on the streamer side of things. Like, if you are banned as a streamer, should you be allowed to debate why you got banned? I guess is the core question here. On a human rights level.
I'll take a crack at this. So
everybody buckle up.
This is not legal advice nor actual legal jargon before I say this. But Twitch is a private company that can choose to do what they want with their with their content in their terms of service. It says they have the right to ban you for whatever reason they want, literally whatever reason they want, and therefore that is their decision. And your job as a content creator is to ensure you either abide by that or take steps to where it doesn't affect your livelihood or anything else. Because if you get banned, it is always your fault.
Right.
Because everything is laid out in the description. Even if it's not fair, it's still your fault.
Yeah, I mean that's the hard and fast rule there at the end of the day. And there's definitely attached a lot of extra things there. Like, should the person's mental health be considered? Should they seek help? Like, should you have sympathy for those that messed up? Of course, like these are all shoulds. Like, yeah, you should care, but like the reality is, at the end of the day, it's still business, and it's their decision, right? Like, you can say they should do this all you want, and I can agree with you. Like, yeah, in an ideal world, they should care about this, but there's only so much time in a day, and with how many people are on Twitch, it would be kind of nuts. And that's not me saying that they shouldn't review cases and give people the opportunity, but I can understand why they don't. Is the point there?
I actually have a friend who was banned from Twitch, and he recently just got unbanned because they made him send in like an apology letter, basically. And I was telling him, like, next time you do Twitch, like, you need to not toe that line. Like, that's one, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you were reported for something that you didn't technically do, but you were still kind of towing the line a little bit. Don't toe the line at all. Like, it's not worth the risk of whatever you're trying to do. Like, just make content, don't offend people, and make sure you're up to date on TOS.
Definitely agree. MPI, any thoughts?
Yeah, and I think up in chat, Suchi said it best that if you've been permabanned, you probably really screwed up, and probably honestly kind of shouldn't be on the platform, because it sounds like you might be doing things that people shouldn't be seeing, or maybe you've just been a constant stream of a small ban, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and you're not learning from those mistakes, and then you don't learn until you get permabanned, and then you're like, oh crap, well now I can't keep doing what I was doing. I guess I did the wrong thing now. Like, I think they probably should review cases, but for the most part, if you've gotten that far, it's you've probably had enough chances to learn.
Right. That's fair. And again, that comes back to what I was saying earlier, right? Like, we can say they should do this all you want, but there's a reason for the stuff that they do. And it's a business, right? With how many people are on the platform, you'd have to hire a person whose job it is to review cases, and probably many people do that. And I can understand why they don't. But good question. It's definitely, that's definitely a dicey one with people, because there are bans out there that maybe don't seem justified or don't seem fair. And at the end of the day, we're all playing by Twitch's game. So that's the tough reality.
I think the easiest way to look at it is if you even for a split second think that it could get you banned or reported or suspended, just don't do it. It's not. Think about it.
Fair enough. Okay, so question from Nerdtron64 for Veloc, actually, specifically. How's being in the Tapman army? See anything cool come from it? So you actually want to share that to people, because they might not have heard.
Sure,
I think they heard last week.
So I did get accepted into the Tapman army a week or two ago.
Golf clap chat.
Thank you. It's a really big deal. No, I haven't really seen anything from it. Maybe an occasional viewer or two that maybe probably didn't mention that they looked at me through the Tapman army list of streamers that were live. No, I haven't seen anything from it. It's awesome being in there. It's something that I've wanted since before even streaming. But it's one of those things that it's just like being partnered with True and being on this podcast and everything. It's one of those things that doesn't really set you ahead of anybody. It's just another way to get discovered. That's all it is.
How is it compared? Like, what did you kind of expect going into it getting accepted versus now?
I didn't expect anything. Like, there's a small chance of getting rated, and there's a small chance of someone discovering me a little bit faster or easier. But aside from that, there's no real pros to it aside from having the Tapman army at the bottom of my stream. You know what I mean? I'm not
right.
And that's literally it. Like, it's just like, for me, it was just a cool goal to get to. Like, I got this far, and it's not even really like that hard to get into. I don't think. You just need to have so many followers, so much time streamed, and probably just not be an a-hole, I think. You know what I mean? Right. So I think I fit all three of those pretty well. So it's not one of those things that sets you above anybody. I haven't really seen anything from it, but it's just a cool thing that I'm happy about for sure.
Right. I think it's good that you had that expectation going into it and kind of, because I could see people who get into a special team like that and get really excited by, oh man, this is the ticket for growth and I'm finally going to grow. And no, right? It's not that game changer you think.
Tim the Tatman did not call me up and be like, hey bro, you made it. Let's hang out. Like,
I'm going to read you every day for the next year.
I wish that was the case. Trust me, but no, that's not how it is.
But congratulations to Vel on that. I know it's a cool little thing for him to get. So very cool. Guys, we are actually open right now to all questions. I think we worked through all the ones in the chat. If you guys asked something and I missed it, please don't be afraid to re-ask it in the chat and tag @TRUgaming so I see it in that red. You can also post it in the Discord if that's easier for you, if you're listening, or if you just want to make sure that it gets seen, because I will definitely see it there. But in the meantime, sorry, I muted myself there. Let's talk a little bit about, there's a couple different things we can talk about. I think one thing that I know both me and Vel have been thinking about lately, and maybe, MPI, Sadomi, you guys have as well, is sub rewards. Because, and this is a topic that comes up a lot, but, I've been thinking personally, like how to reward subscribers. I think Vel has as well. MPI and Sadomi, first of all, do you guys reward your subscribers in any way, or have you thought about it?
I used to.
Okay. How so?
I used to dance a little bit here and there. I think some people remember that. I stopped doing that because, well, I mean,
too much cardio.
I got the head here. Like,
that's all we need. Just wear that.
So, okay.
It won't muffle your voice at all.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, so
yes,
like I used to like put this on, dance some like something silly, but I kind of didn't want to do that anymore. Not only that, I don't have the space anymore. It's just not
And now we're making you do it again, of course.
Yeah. And also, since I'm going over to Mixer, they don't have subs for not partners. So if you sub, guess what? Yay, thanks for free money, but I'm not going to do anything because it's on Twitch. I'm not even here anymore. In fact, please cancel your subs. Or not. That's your choice. I'll take the money. Your choice.
All right, fair enough. MPI, do you reward your subs right now? Are you thinking about how to do it? What's going on?
I don't know. I've tried to think of other things to do, but right now, like every sub, like Mark B. Writing said in chat, we eat a bean boozle bean, and people love that because I make the most terrible faces whenever I eat a disgusting bean. For Halloween, every time somebody subbed, I had a list of Halloween masks that they could pick from, and I would wear it for like 15 minutes and have to play a game through it. And most of them were like dollar children's masks that I got at the Dollar Tree. So they covered most of my eyes. For Christmas, we had a tree that I would write their name on an ornament and I'd put it on a Christmas tree. But I don't have anything like, I don't send out like stickers or anything like that. Like I know I've seen some people do or anything. So
gotcha.
It's more just like we're doing a fun thing for it because it's a holiday or something extra on top of the bean. And that's about it. I am bringing back sub Sundays once football's over.
Right.
So
yeah, those are popular.
I guess that's another one. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, some cool ideas there. Did you think of those ideas? And Sadomi, I'll ask you this as well. Did you guys think of those yourselves? Did you kind of see someone else doing it and adopt it, or how'd those come about?
The Bean Boozle beans I saw people do. I think I saw Dan the Dapper doing them, and I kind of got the idea from there. And then I found them in my grocery store for like $1 on clearance per box. And I was like, perfect. Those are cheap. It's easy. I'm buying a ton of them. Now I have a shit ton of these boxes. The Halloween mask I thought of on my own because I really like Halloween, so I go all out for Halloween. And the Christmas tree, I still had. It's like it was only like a 2-foot tall tree, so it wasn't like a full size Christmas tree. We had it from when we lived in an apartment and couldn't fit a big tree. Now we have a full-size Christmas tree, and I happened to see that in the Christmas decorations and thought, that's a perfect idea. Now I just have to find the ornaments. So I thought of some of them on my own. Some of them I borrowed from other people. You know, it's kind of
mixture.
A little mixture.
Nice. Very cool. Vel, have you thought through some of your own sub rewards, or do you have any currently?
I thought of some. I used to have, like I always say, I used to have Snapchat, but that doesn't work anymore. But it's hard for me to find ones that feel right. Like, I don't like to just like think of like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, and then just do it right off the bat. Like, I like to think of it long term, like, because I used to do the slam dunk thing when I get 3 subs, or when I hit the goal for the subs that day. I'd do a slam dunk over there, and I'd get my fat body up in the air. And after a while, that gets really, really terrible for me. And you guys like it a lot, but I don't like it. And then so you have to remember, like, is this gonna suck? Like, after a while, is this gonna start to suck? And then also, is this gonna, like, if it does suck, will I still be able to will I still want to keep doing it? And you have to remember, will it suck, and will I eventually have to get rid of it? Because it was both of those things, and I don't like removing things once I add them.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I think you can also, that's something I've been thinking through with my own as well, is, you know, like maybe this works now at 10 subs, but you potentially, you know, worst case scenario, you get to 1,000. That's a lot of jumping. That's a lot of dancing. Right?
Yeah. Well, on like special events, like birthday streams or whatever, I'm working that thing like too many times. It's too much.
I learned that the hard way last night, because with the Bean Boozle beans, like I mentioned for subs, we also do them for bits, and we had that great bit war of our time. I got into multiple double digits, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it, because I cannot eat 60 beans at once. I will die.
Well,
yikes.
It's worth it.
There's ways you can do that. I think
that's a bannable offense, dying on stream.
I think so.
It's not. Sure. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
How dare you
they drop the hammer on that.
Send in your apology letter. You'll get it figured out.
Sorry I died. My bad. Who banned me?
Oops. Yeah, I think there are ways you can help make that a little better in terms of like scalability. Basically, if you want to make it like the first 5 subs or something, get this reward each day at some point when it gets too many, or maybe doing like, you know, you get this once for every so months, something like that. There's ways you could do that, I think. But I'm just curious, because I know subtopics is one that's like one of the hardest things for people to think of. So, you know, like MPI did, having ideas from other people can be helpful. And then thinking of stuff that your own, that you think of yourself, is also very helpful. I recently started doing channel reviews and custom graphics for subs too. So just in case anybody was interested in what I do for my own stream, I just think that's helpful to give you guys some context on what we do, in case, you know, you're struggling with that yourselves, some ideas you can work off of. But we have some questions coming in now, so let's jump back into the chat here. First question is from HoFood, I believe, again. It said, what are your thoughts on these more modern view botters? Interesting. So I'm not sure exactly what you mean, HoFood. Maybe he's talking about I always forget the name of these things, like the electric skateboard or that type of thing. Do you guys know more about this? Because I honestly have not looked into it that much.
I haven't looked into it at all, but I've definitely been viewed about it a few times within the last like month or so.
Okay. What was that like?
Awful. Like, it's like, it sucks because it puts you up higher in the directory, but you don't deserve to be, like, in my opinion, I did not deserve to be there. And so I'm getting put higher up. I have not the chat to support it. And I just like, I don't like it at all. I don't like getting hyped behind the views that are not actually views. It sucks. Like, it's a decent way to troll somebody, I guess, if you really just want to like just ruin their mentality that day, but not actually have anything funny happen.
Right.
I don't know. It just seems dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's that different than how it had been before, really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You did make me think, though, because I was talking before about the whole, you know, having the option to hide your viewer account. I could see actually a situation that'd be bad for view botting situations where you're getting view botted, but people can't tell because your viewer account's not up there. Right. That would be a bad situation. But Sadomi, MPI, do you guys have more experience with this kind of modern view botting stuff?
No, but I think if I got view botted, I don't think I'd really care. Honestly, because I would be, because normally my streams, at least now, they're more focused on what I'm doing, and I keep my view count up just so I know like what I can do on stream, what I can't do on stream. Like, I'm not going to host an open lobby if I have 3 people watching. No. But if I have like, if I see view button go like 100, 200, 300, 400, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, and I'll just keep doing what I was doing.
Fair enough. HoFood added a little bit more context in there. Said there's some that are supposed to replicate behaviors of viewers while using real accounts, and it's hard to tell if you're being view botted until you realize they're referencing things in the chat that didn't happen. So I actually think these have been around for a while, though. If I'm thinking of the same kind of viewbot where they just kind of type random things that most of them seem like whatever, and you can't really interact with them, but you can't tell you're being viewbotted really into a certain point. Those have been around for a couple of years at least, I would say. Have you had those in your streams at all?
I've had that before. Back when I played PUBG, I had that once where I got like a burst of 75 plus people, and they were all just saying the same thing over and over again.
I remember that.
I don't think I've ever seen a viewbot like that in my stream before.
So if I'm thinking of it correctly, basically what it looks like is a bunch of random accounts that they're not all just like numbers. They're actually, I don't know how they make them, but they look like actual names. Come in there and they just say things like, "Hey, what up?" or like, "Wow, so cool," or something that's like very vague and like could make sense, but there's no context on it. Sometimes they will ask weird things, like if you're doing a podcast or something, and they're like, "Hey, can I play with you?" And you're like, "Wait a minute, I'm not playing a game here. What's going on?" So you'll get questions like that don't make any sense, and then you'll try and talk to them, and they won't answer back. So I've seen those go around for a while, and they're not fun to deal with because it can seem really fun at first. People are chatting in there, you see that viewer count rise, and then realize it's actually just a bunch of bots.
Right. There was that guy that offered me view bots. Do you remember that? I think I DM'd.
Oh yeah, you want to tell that story? I don't think the stream heard it.
Let me find the actual conversation. It was a minute ago, but this dude, I don't want to say his name or anything just because I'm not really about that. I gotta find it real quick. But basically, this guy came up to me in Discord DMs and offered me view bots and said that, you know, like they will talk just like regular people. It looks just like regular people. It's totally legal. There's nothing to worry about. He's helped over like 75 people or something like that get affiliated. He's like, "I can get you 20 to 40 viewers." And so I'm like, "LOL, look at the channel, bruh." And then I'm already affiliated. I already get roughly that amount of people. And he got really mad because on stream, I was talking to him, like typing back to him on stream. And I was telling my chat about it, and I was like, "This guy is kind of a piece of shit for doing this. He's just he's helping people like just scoot on by. Like he's not helping people at all, though. Like I said,
you could get affiliate.
Yeah,
why did you pass?
I said it's a bullshit system on stream, and he got really mad because I was like, "You're not actually helping anybody because you're not learning how to be a streamer. You're just getting views and not learning how you should actually be getting views." And so I was like, "You're not teaching people what they should be doing." He said, "Quote unquote, that's not my job." And I'm like, "You're an asshole and you're stealing people's money." And I can't find it right now. I wonder if he like just deleted the entire conversation or something. But man, it got a little heated for sure. Don't accept.
Tell him to that YouTube bullcrap out of here.
I just thought it's a great story because the real problem with viewbots is that. So I deal a lot with viewbots on the sponsorship end of things, and it really sucks because you can't tell who's doing the viewbotting. Because sometimes you'll see channels that have, I mean, you can clearly tell there are bots in there, but you can't tell if the person is viewbotting themselves or if someone's doing it to them. So it's a really sucky situation too, because like, I mean, you don't want to, like, we can't sponsor channels that have viewbotting, right? Even if it's not your fault, like we just can't be associated with that. So the viewbotting situation kind of sucks. I have heard of people reaching out to Twitch in certain situations. There are some extreme situations where like people just go way too high with viewbots, and it's like 500,000 people watching this. Holy, it's like there's some stories out there. Look on YouTube; it's really funny. But if that happens and you're just in some extreme viewbot situation and it doesn't go away, you can reach out to Twitch directly and say, "Hey, I don't know what's going on. I'm getting botting. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know how to tell you it's not me, but it's not, and I just want to tell you guys ahead of time." That's what I would do in those situations. Most of the time, view bots tend to go away after like a day or a couple hours or something. So hopefully it's not a big issue. But in those rare circumstances, you should do something about it, I would say. Good question, though. Appreciate that a lot.
I got to step away for just a second, guys. I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
No problem. We'll be here. Guys, we got about 23 minutes left. So now is the time to get your questions in. If you haven't already, to make sure that we answer by the time we're done the show. Next question is from Taurus Blaze-Star again. Says, Becca brought up the point about smoking cannabis on stream if you live in a state that it is legal in the US. How slippery is that slope in terms of service? Interesting.
I think the rule of thumb is as long as if you don't get reported for it, Twitch isn't going to look at it. And also, if it said if it's legal in your state, it's final stream, but it has to be rated as mature content.
Right.
On Mixer, they do the same thing, except it has to be always 18 plus, and you can't promote smoking at all or anything of like that nature. Like cigarette companies, alcohol companies, you can't promote, be sponsored by them on Mixer.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure about the TOS for Twitch specifically on this. I know there is the clause, you can't do dangerous consumption of anything, like whether it's alcohol.
You can't do like a shot for sub or anything like that.
So based on what Sadomi said, I mean, I'll have to look into this and get back to you guys, to be honest. I think, if you're in the state where it's legal, then it's allowed, but I would guess similar to Mixer, like you can't be pushing that, especially if people are watching from different states. And then you can't, whatever dangerous consumption would be, you can't do that either. So probably similar to, taking a shot for a sub. You can't smoke for a sub or something, or go crazy like some people do with alcohol as well. So
one thing you have to remember though is that like it's just like drinking, where like if people don't drink, they're not going to watch a person who does if they're doing it on stream. People who are really against smoking are going to watch people who smoke on stream.
I don't know what I missed. I just got back.
MPI, somebody asked basically
marijuana.
Yeah, smoking marijuana on stream when it's in a legal state. Right. So when it's been legalized. But yeah, like Velox said, basically, if you choose to do that, you're gonna attract and not detract, but
repel.
Repel a certain audience.
Yeah.
So make sure you're aware of that. And the opposite is not necessarily true. Like if you don't smoke, you're not gonna repel smokers. So keep that in mind if you're doing that.
Yeah. And also, even if you're with vaping, that's well the thing. People who vape to get more information about like their vape, cartridges or whatever they do with their vapes. So there's an audience for everything.
Right. Snoopog verified what I was just saying too. I think you're talking about Twitch versus Mixer. My gut says they're exactly the same. 18 plus, no promoting it. Anything that could be considered self-harm and or harmful to your health is off limits. So pretty much what we just said. Good question though. I don't think we actually talked about that on the stream before. Okay, next question comes from... What's up?
I said smoke him if you got him.
Cindy actually said that a Twitch just sent out an email about Article 13. I might look in my email really quickly, see if that's true.
Bye, you.
Yeah, look at
we
that.
Love you.
So, fun fact, if you guys are watching this, Twitch, for some reason, likes to release all their news right on Friday at the time this show goes live. So, a lot of times we react to stuff on the fly. So,
this just in.
I'm reading through it really quickly. It looks like they're basically just talking like another PSA about Article 13. I saw YouTube did one about that this morning too. We talked about this a couple weeks back when Article 13, the CEO of Twitch made a post about it that went out to all the emails. Now, like literally just now, they sent out an email to everyone again, reminding you about Article 13 with actually steps about what you can do to stop Article 13. So that's kind of cool to see. Twitch is still pushing that. I know YouTube has been going like super hard on that. But Twitch is taking some more steps to push that now. So that's good to see. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Article 13, basically it would restrict a lot of the copyrighted content that you'll be able to access on the internet if you're in Europe. And I think specifically the EU. So, on Twitch, that's huge because copyrighted music, copyrighted artwork, even games considered copyright in some sense, like all that would be jeopardized where you couldn't be able to watch it. Twitch would be responsible for that. So they would probably just cut the content altogether off the platform. And Twitch is even more volatile than YouTube because it's on the fly. So they might even just like shut down an EU. It's a whole mess. So Article 13 does matter. Definitely check out that email if you got it and read through that if you want to help fight it. But let's get back to the questions with the last couple minutes we have here. If you guys have questions on Article 13, you can ask them. Just tag TRUgaming so I see it. We had a question from Lil Fitty. So do some of you guys force yourselves to play games that have high view counts versus the games you want to play but may have low view counts? Good question. Have you guys run into the situation where you want to play something but no one's watching it, so you play something that's better for the stream for certain reasons?
I have, but I don't go outside of my rotation. My current rotation right now is Magic the Gathering, Rocket League, and my face. So I know for a fact on Mixer, if no one's in the Magic directory, I'm not going to worry about it. But if people in the Magic directory, I'll play some Magic. I gotta play some Magic, but I'm not going to go like play. I hate PUBG. I hate PUBG. If someone told me they give me 300 viewers right now and to stream PUBG, I would load PUBG, play one game, be like, I'm good, and just go back to playing Magic. Like, I'm not playing.
Right.
I'm gonna do something on stream that makes me like what I want to do. But also, I've been streaming more casually too, so it's kind of my mentality of it. If like this is for somebody who probably streams full time or has bills to pay with their streaming, and also with things like bounties and things like noise. Like, I mean, those, if you get something out of it and you're okay with it and don't kill you like with your stream like feel or community, then it's not the worst thing in the world. But for me personally, I don't really do it.
Fair enough. MPI, what about you?
I mean, I typically try to play games that I want to play, but if I go and look at a game and the directory is literally 0 people watching, 0 people following, I'll probably keep that one for off stream, just because. Or if it's like something you can beat in a couple of hours, maybe it's not as bad, but you're not going to see any growth from that. And there's also a chance that your community doesn't even want to see it because it's maybe a game that nobody really enjoyed or just no one's even heard of. But on the other flip side of it, I'm not going to go play like Fortnite because everyone plays Fortnite just because it's popular.
Right.
Like I think Sadomi said, like if you have bounties or noise, and if you find games that are similar to games that you would normally play anyway, but maybe you haven't tried that specific series out, I think that's a good way to kind of do a little bit of both there. Just because, maybe that's a popular game that's out right now, but maybe you just haven't checked out that developer or maybe that franchise before. It's a good time to try it, but I typically try to stick to games that I would at least enjoy to play myself. Because if not, people are going to see you play it. Like if I played Fortnite right now, I would just be sitting here like this. I'm playing Fortnite. This is great. Like I don't enjoy those games, so it's going to be a boring stream, and nobody's going to want to watch it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot there in terms of, on the one end, you have to look at the numbers. That will make sense. But then you have to consider what you actually want to enjoy playing and the energy you can bring to a stream too. So that's really important to think about. Vel, what are your thoughts on this?
I try not to stream games that have less than 3,000 viewers in them in total, just because it's going to be a lot harder to grow in those kind of directories. You guys hear me? What?
I hear him.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought there was an issue. But yeah, so I try to stay above 3,000. I do stream a lot of Fortnite, but I really enjoy it, and I think my streams are kind of entertaining in Fortnite. I understand it's a lot harder to grow in those, and that's a risk I'm willing to take for the most part. But I do stream other things, like I just started doing Dark Souls 3 yesterday, and like you want to be. I'm not going to go and stream Civilization 5 or whatever the newest one is, just because I know that that's not going to bring me anybody. It's going to be a really boring stream. Even though I enjoy that game, I'm not going to be a good streamer for it.
Right.
So it's a pros and cons on each game that you play.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
The biggest one is, does it at least have somewhat of an audience? Is the biggest thing you need to ask yourself.
Yeah, and it really comes back to like what you want to get out of the stream. Like if growth matters a lot to you, then it's probably worth considering moving away from games where there's very few viewers. I would say like maybe under 500 is really low.
Right.
And then also at the top of the end though, you might not necessarily want to stream stuff that's at the top either. Like even though everyone's watching Fortnite, it might be really hard to grow there. So something in the middle might make sense. But like we said earlier, numbers alone and data and on paper, what's the best game to stream? Sure, that's great, but you have to also consider what you can stand to stream, what you can be passionate about, the energy you can bring to it. All that stuff matters. So, in my case, like if you love streaming League of Legends or something, but there's 100 million people playing it, maybe your energy is worth it, and you just love the game so much and don't care as much about growth that you play that anyway, or Fortnite or something in Vel's case. Or on the other end, if you play something that's very small and there's not a ton of people watching it, there are ways to get around that. Like if you want to make more content for YouTube or something and push people to Twitch at the same time. So it's not like a hard and fast rule. In general, though, it does make sense to pick something kind of in the middle ground in terms of viewership. Like if there's a bell curve of all the games people are watching, right in the middle is about the best you can pick.
Right.
So
kind of like you mind if I dive into this a little bit more?
That's fine. Go for it.
Okay, so one thing to think about if you are looking to grow your channel, but you do want to play games that you like, I would set like for me, my main game is Fortnite. The ceiling for growth on Fortnite is obviously much higher, but it's a lot more of a grind. It's super flooded with streamers, and it's really hard to grow in that. But if you also stream other things that like might potentially bring your viewers up, a little bit faster every once in a while, but then you still have that main game that's a little bit larger because. People were preaching variety streaming for such a long time, and I know quite a lot of variety streamers that say like it's kind of toxic almost because there's no ceiling there. Like the highest people are the highest people in those variety style games, and it's really hard to grow like that. So you want to kind of think about it in like the long term. You know what I mean? Like you might get a lot of growth right away being a variety streamer, but your fast growth has a lower ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely matters. Like your strategy around it too. Like again, not just looking at what's on paper, but if you have ways to build around a challenge, making more content or making different types of content, you can still do that. So that makes sense. Crazy Eyes mentioned in the chat there, it's less of a bell curve, more of a line. I'll just make like an example. Basically, like there's a sweet spot, I guess the best way to put it, in like the middle range of viewers where it's not oversaturated, so you can get seen a bit better, but it's not also so dead that no one's watching it. It's like two lines, I guess, like intersecting. I have to like graph it out, but anyway, hopefully that helps.
Would be cool to do actually, though, to see a graph like that.
Yeah, I might do that for a video sometime. We'll see.
that.
I'll have to think about that. Okay, so moving on here, we have a couple minutes left, guys. So if we don't get to your question, please join the Discord and we can answer any questions there. All four of us can help you out. You can also get your question featured next time if we don't get to it. But keep moving on here. Mark B. Writing says, assuming that you guys all do this as something like a job, how do you keep it interesting as a full-time job? So first of all, I want to say that I don't think, well, I guess now some of you guys do it as a full-time job. Vel does. MPI, do you consider it a full-time job?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, Sadomi, do you as well? Maybe?
I used to, and I recently cut back the thinking on that. And that's actually made me feel so much better about streaming because I kind of got to a point where, like, I'm saying this all day. If it's scheduled and I have to take it out of my day, I need to be compensated for it. That's just how I feel. Same thing with work. I'm not going to my job just because I feel like, going there to help them out for a little bit. No, pay me MF. But going back to streaming, as also why I went to Mixer too. Going back to Mixer, taking out the things that affiliates get, such as like, the bits, that subs, all that like garbage, has made me actually feel better about streaming because it takes that like pressure off. Because now I can focus on other things. I don't have to even pretend like anything can. I can just focus on the stream itself, which has been great. I've been having so much more fun streaming. I've literally probably put up my best content, best streams the past 2 weeks now.
Awesome,
it's been great. But yeah, I don't feel like streaming is a job, but I definitely feel like it's a very expensive, very time-consuming, very soul-draining hobby. But damn it, I love it.
I think we would agree with you there. I would agree with you on that front, at least. Okay, so shifting to MPI and Velok, you guys do consider this your full-time job now. Those are kind of recent, I would say, because it wasn't always like that for you. So now that you do consider it your full-time job, do you struggle to keep it interesting for you, or is it always, even as a job, is it still pretty interesting just in and of itself? MPI, start with you on this one.
So I went full-time late June of last year. Now at this point, when I had some issues with my, at that time, day job. And I think just now, very recently, I've started to run into a few things where it's personally for me feeling a little bit more stagnant. And I think that's just because you're playing games for 40 plus hours a week. No matter what you're doing, you're going to run into that, whether it's, your video editing, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a web developer, if you're a doctor, you're always going to run into, I'm doing the same thing all day, every day, no matter what. But at the end of the day, are you doing something that you at least don't hate? If you work in sales, you probably don't like sales that much because sales is a soul-sucking job and it will destroy you. But at the end of the day, if you're streaming for your job every day, you play video games, you get to interact with people, you're talking to basically a community who becomes your friends, you can look at it as, yeah, it's your job, but it's still something that's at least enjoyable.
Right. Yeah.
I think I run into I'm flying through games a lot faster than I did. So I'm scrambling a little bit more to be like, crap, what do we play next? And trying to figure out the same thing we were just talking about. Is this game going to be good for growth? Am I going to also enjoy this game? Is this something that is going to take us a week to finish, or is it going to take 2 or 3 months to finish because it's, God of War or Red Dead Redemption, something that's ginormous. So it's a tough line to walk, I think, for sure. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it as, is this what I want to do? Am I happy doing this even when I'm frustrated?
Right. Yeah. I think anytime, like you said, that you consider something your job or that you're doing something every day and you just do it a lot, like there's going to be hard points in it, and it's not always going to be just a blast. There's parts, whether it's offline networking or preparing for streams, making graphics and stuff. There's definitely like low parts to streaming and everything else you could do out there. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing to do or that you don't like it. It's just a matter of getting through those points. And like you said, like looking overall what you're doing and deciding that you still love it or it's still worth it for you or for whatever reason. Vel, what are your thoughts? Because you're very recently full time. So what are your kind of thoughts so far?
Feels like I'm on vacation still. It's awesome. Like waking up and knowing that I don't have to go to like an actual job has been super stress relieving for me. I'm able to focus a lot more on my stream. I'm able to focus more on getting good at the games that I'm playing. If I play a single player game, I know that I actually have time to beat it now, instead of I do 15 hours of gaming each week and most of it isn't single player, as opposed to now I have a lot more time and I can do a lot more single player if I want to. It's been super cool, and I have a lot more time to do behind the scenes things that I wasn't able to do when I was using up all my extra time with streaming before. So obviously I think the high of the feeling of vacation will go away soon. And I think it'll just be like a regular day-to-day thing. But either way, it's awesome, man. It's been so great. It's been amazing so far.
Right. The honeymoon period hasn't worn off for you yet, basically.
Right, pretty much.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm sure, like MPI said, eventually, no matter what you're doing, when you're doing it for long enough, it's going to get repetitive because it is repetitive. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. So hopefully that was insightful for you. I'm a host. I work at TRUgaming, just for clarification. TRUgaming is an actual company, just for anyone who's interested. Like, we have an office, we have a building. We're not just an online presence. So this is my full-time job as the media manager for TRUgaming, just for anyone interested. And I still love it. Okay, so we are just about to wrap up here. I know a lot of people ask questions. We did questions from Ash Caitlin, Taurus, Snoop. If you guys ask questions, I have them in the Discord. We'll have them on deck for next show, so stay tuned. And if you guys have any other questions that we didn't get to, please ask them in the Discord. You can type !Discord to get the link to that. This has been Stream Key, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you're here for the first time, we do this every single week on Friday. We also do on Thursdays and Wednesdays over on Mixer with Snoop there. But yeah, thanks for watching. We're going to sign off a little bit here with Sadomi first. Anything you want to say to people on where they can find you or anything else to share?
Everyone, you can find me on 2 places, mainly Twitter and Mixer. On Twitter, my name is _SADOMI_, because you can't have Sadomi anywhere except for Mixer. Mixer, it's just regular old Sadomi. I'll post a link in chat. Is that okay, Green? Post in chat.
Go for it.
Gotcha. Bam. Right there. Actually going live right after the show, too. So see you all over there, hopefully.
All right, cool. MPI, anything you want to say?
So it'll be on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. They are all MrPureInstinct, exactly like it is here on Facebook. If you still use that, it's MrPureInstinct TV, because I couldn't have MrPureInstinct somehow. Don't really understand why. But you can always find me on all of those. Typically, Twitter is my go-to, and Instagram I need to use more. I'm trying, but it's something that I just kind of forget about sometimes. So any of those places is a good place to find me.
Go check them out, guys. Really cool stuff. Very new True partner. So make sure you go check them out. And lastly, Vel, anything you want to say to people before we head off here?
I'm this right here, VELOKK_TV on everything that I'm on. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, and I'll be streaming right after this as well.
I will be in an hour.
Whoop. Whoop.
We're all going live.
And guys, this has been Stream Key again. You can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Pocket Casts, any podcast listening platform. We're there. This is like our 87th episode, which is crazy. We're getting at 100 pretty soon. So we got to do something big for 100.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can type ! Spotify, check us out. And we'll be back next week on Thursday with Snoop, actually, for an interview on his move to Mixer, because that's been a really hot topic. So we'll talk all about that. And then Friday, again, will be this show with the call-ins, with the questions, and you guys, and 2 more guests. We'll see who it is next week. Not sure. But yeah, that's it for us, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you later. Stick around. We'll raid somebody really quickly. Adios.